I'm
Okay.
good. It's coming back. We were talking to, uh, you were interested in talking about the higher self, or that's what's interesting people or sparking people. People, in general, because of learned beliefs and circumstances and experiences, have called upon the light outside of themselves. That's why we go higher selves. And that's in a paradigm, probably that's how it was. That's just how, with the world being so dense at that time. And it's feeling like it doesn't really matter how it happened, but somewhere along the line, we did push ourselves, our light, our souls outside of our body. So we're like reaching always for information that's inside. And then all of a sudden, and you're like, oh my gosh, my inner self is all knowing. And sometimes when you're, mostly all the time, when you're connecting to the higher self, there's so much influence due to the 5G, the 10, they're coming out 10G now, which is very staticky. So especially for healers that have been doing this work for a long time, they have mastered connecting to the higher self, awakening the inner self, gifting their self the gift of presence, so that they're ministering that presence so that they can manifest in this world, and so that they can share the unconditional love from the God source creator, the one that breathes you life, right? Mm-hmm. But right now it's so staticky, and a lot of the healers are going to the same channel that they have had perfect pure light, and it's not working anymore. So like, it's very important to tap into like this new earth energy and be like really excited about it, because the new earth energy right now is beautiful, profound, and unconditional love. And if it's triggering any sort of doubt, then not doubt or fear or competition with healers, that's the paradigm. Because the only person you're in competition with is yourself. There's just, it doesn't, in those other realms, that's a non-existing energy.
Yes.
So when you're feeling that, what it feels like is, from my observation, was you're connecting to your higher self, you're having the gift of presence, you're ministering the I am presence of unconditional love, opening the people's doors up, opening your clients' doors up, stargates, whatever that looks like to you, and they're self-healing, and you are able to tap light in where they need it. But when you're keep accessing and not realizing it's coming, accessing your higher self, and not realizing there's an inner self that really knows what needs now, you're, due to the interference, there is you're tapping into that lower self, so it is triggering old stuff, and so much confusion through the media, through just stuff. You don't even have to watch TV to feel it, for some reason people are replaying what they tap into their lower self. Maybe they're supposed to do shadow work or say goodbye to something, and then they're like, oh my gosh, and they go back down into that lower space. So that's why I'm teaching right now, you're not higher or lower than anybody. You are centered, and your inner self knows but remembers. So each part, everything that you do outside, or everything you do through that heart space, you're remembering. Through that portal, you're remembering. So
yes, I am remembering. Yes. So I have felt this lately. I've felt the going to your higher self, and I felt it in my clients too, where it's like they're going out of their body to, like, they go up to get the information, and then they need to come back down. But because of that, there isn't this, like, those energy codes are supposed to come into the body. And so they're not internalizing and grounding and really connecting and living from presence. It's like they're going into, it's like their identity is their wounds. That's what I've been seeing. And it's a lot of labels, and it's a lot of resistance, and a lot of people feeling like they're going backwards. And it's not really anything to do with how they're healing forwards. It's not about forward moving. Not even clients. I'm actually seeing this with some of my friends too, now that I think about it. But they don't, and it's like they don't feel like themselves. I've probably got that for about 5 people in the last week.
It's
And
interesting because it feels like they're so uncomfortable in the unknown that they're finding where they used to be comfortable, but their energy is shifted and different. So they go back and find it and they're like, ew, that's not comfortable anymore, you know?
yeah, okay. So how would you recommend to people to connect to themselves, to connect to their inner being?
So it's all by feeling in your heart. Like maybe let's, if you're open to it, we can do like a connection,
Yeah,
meditation.
yeah, let's do one.
So it'll, instead of talking about it, let's just example it right here and experience it.
Okay, let me get my meditation stance. Okay.
We look like we had like game on.
I'm ready.
That's fun. And joy. This work, I just came in through strong. This work is heavy right now for almost all of us. And if you are not experiencing joy at least one time a day, like finding something or not, like remembering something, creating something that brings you an authentic, true, just full belly laugh, then the work is just, it will just pile up on you and pile up on you, because there's one thing that negative energies or cannot get through, and that is that giggle, that love in your heart. And so there is negative energies and there's lack of light. So if you're experiencing either of those, a giggle, a laugh is going to fill your lack of light up with, or lack of light up with a joy light, up with the frequency, or you're going to push a negative energy out right out of your body. So remember to giggle and always be in joy.
A belly laugh.
A belly laugh.
I'll make sure a belly laugh a day.
Yes.
Awesome.
Okay, so we're gonna invite you to sit in your seat, lay on your bed, in a chair, feel your spine, stretch, bring your awareness to your breath. Take a deep, deep breath through your nose all the way to your toes. The next breath in, breathe all the way into your tummy, through your nose into your tummy. Next breath in into your chest and out your mouth. We're going to bring your awareness to that I am presence that seems so far out there above you. This beautiful, big white light filled with your essence, pieces of you that you've left behind, people have taken, or you've forgotten about. That white light, when you see white go whiter, more illuminating, and in your mind's eye, say, I call back my essence. Feel the vibrations move down the top of your head, in your inner core. You're going to feel an alignment happening to that massive white light that through history, through experience, through lifetimes, we pushed outside of ourselves. Feeling that you have the answers, inviting the gift of presence, of remembering. Simultaneously, you're going to feel, sense, or know a vibration under your feet. You're going to feel, sense, or know the heart core of Mother Earth beating the same heartbeat as yours, same frequency, same electrical magnetic pulse. Breathe. And remember to breathe. As you're breathing, you're remembering that innately happens. You're remembering that heartbeat in your chest that beats for you every second of every day. You don't even ask. As you're realizing this heart space, the electrical magnetic pulse is remembering. It's attracting the heart core Mother Earth and that higher self, soul star, God, source, creator that created you life, attracting that. Not necessarily even attracting, you're aligning the stars. There you go. You're aligning the stars to you. I invite you to breathe through your mouth like you're breathing through a straw. Breathe energy from Mother Earth up, boom, out your chest, and feel that connection to all things, that unfailing love, the nurturing. Feel that sway in your body as the light from above is moving down into your space, through your crown, feeling up every energy center of your body. As you're feeling, sensing, and seeing the diamond flames, this energy is moving around each one of your chakras, these energy centers. They're turning diamond. That is a transmitter of the new earth energy. That upper stomach you're feeling right now, a little pain, little discomfort, and a little bit in the back between the shoulder blades. Breathe into that through your nose, up your throat, out your mouth, and feel that you have 40 to 120 trillion biophotons in your body awakening right now. Breathe through your nose, through the left side of your brain to the right, and feel the transmitters in your brain connect to the heart energy as you feel a cooperation, a coherence, and boom, feel Mother Earth moving up your feet like water, this liquid light going through the centers, boom, out your heart. The biophotons in your body are celebrating life. These particles of light is your innate abilities to heal, to love immaculately, to remember how powerful you are, everyone. So any listeners has any heavy energy, a cramp, a pinch or pull, breathe into it. And blow it out your mouth. And let your body embrace you. As that soulful heart opens up, transmits unconditional love through every energy field of your body. And once you've done this, the simple form of being in this energy, in center, ministering the gift of presence to yourself, is you get to tap your heart and your forehead, breathe in, and remember, I am presence, and honor you. Take a breath in through your nose, out your mouth. Feel the energies go into Mother Earth, move above. Any ancestors, guides, or light beings that showed up for you, you'll feel them go into their time and space. Count from 5 to 0 as you move back into your body. 5, 4, 3. Feel your feet, legs, and hips. 2, hip to hip, torso, arms, and fingers. 1, neck and head. Boom, 0, you're back.
Wow. That was amazing. Oh, thank you. And I'm sure everyone appreciates that. At one point, I had to feel if I was drooling. That's I wasn't. But
oh, that's so funny.
I was like, oh my God. Oh, but I could really feel that. And everyone experiences things differently. So whatever you feel is right for you. But I could really feel the electricity and that connection of spirit and body and the earth and everything coming together, and the being that I am and that we are. Thank you. That was beautiful. And now,
experience different, and you get to take the guidelines and take the way that other people do stuff, and remember, we're here with our own unique design, and you can do it exact same, or you can add stuff, and each time you do it, you do something similar or the same. You add and more light to your body, and witness the dense lights, or the denseness, or the lack of light get filled up in your body or move out, and just like play with it. And the more you move out, the more joy you get to like add back into your heart, because energy, no matter what, if there's a space, like you move energy, something's going to move into that space in your body. So let it be joy. That's the highest frequency on earth right now. Unconditional love and joy. Just, I wonder, access your sense of wonder. And I wonder how much more love you can add to yourself today.
yes, absolutely. And it can be helpful that someone leads you through it, and you do an amazing job at holding space. But it's incredible to me that we have the ability to breathe and to visualize and to connect ourselves. And I feel like people can get intimidated and not really think of themselves as a healer, or feel like that's something they have to go outside of themselves to get. And I love the help of another person, but it's really just thinking about taking the time and setting aside the time to intentionally focus on joy and call in your light, and notice, where am I at? Is a lot of my being living in my mind, in the monkey mind, in the chatter? And we're all going to go there at times. Am I being analytical and trying to be in control? Or can I just feel, and can I let it be safe to feel? And I feel like sometimes people jump out of their feeling space because they're experiencing emotions that they don't understand. And what I love about what we just did is you can bring love to fear. You can bring love, like when you had us breathe into where there was a pinch or a cramp in the body, and to breathe it out. I wonder if instead of being alarmed or being afraid of certain feelings or emotions, if there was this grace and acceptance for them so that people knew they could bring love into their body.
What I found interesting is most people don't love themselves like um, their potential is. So your potential love is source love, is God love, is that unfailing love. And I felt that when I died. And when I came back, I couldn't explain it. There was no words, but I felt it. And I realized when I shared it with people, they didn't know what to do with it and they didn't feel worthy of it. But it was their love I was mirroring to them, like their love for themselves. And I learned that people are taught that they have that there's something that needs to love them, that they have to have certain things for self-love, there's just, they don't realize that the biggest love is right in your heart. It's already there. And you were born in it. You were created in it. And you deserve it. And so when I worked with people and we bring that love in, they're like, oh wow. And they almost reject it, thinking it's foreign, but it's not. It's the love for them. So that's where I've really been so grateful that through the clients I get to see that. So we just bridge it when a different way. So when you're working with someone that fear and you tell them that's the love for you, your own love for you, I'm just mirroring back your potential. People more, I mean, at first they don't believe it, right? But
You told that to me.
yeah.
You're like, that's you. And I was like, oh, I had no idea.
Yeah,
I had no idea. Yeah.
because our brains are millions of years old. This brain that is still like a saber tooth tiger and whatever else, that's still, the brain is still, that's the mechanics of the brain. But the heart shifts and changes with Mother Earth. The heart is all loving. The heart is connected and always has been to Mother Earth. And look at the beautiful things she creates. And so when you can realize that your heart has transmitters in it, they call it the heart brain. It has transmitters the same as the brain. Once you can feel that, like I accessed mine when I died and I came back thinking I had something new that I discovered. I'm telling everybody, I'm like, there's something in here. I swear it. And they're like, I know it's been studied. I'm like, okay, well show me, because I was found something new. So
You felt it. You didn't read it in a book, you felt it. So that's amazing.
yeah, and so when I was on Greg Braden's stage, I was telling him that story, that I thought I came up with the most amazing thing ever, because and he's like, oh, that's my work, honey. I'm like, oh, well, show me. I most definitely should have told me that from on stage with him, and I didn't even know he teaches it. Because I didn't even watch TV or anything for years and years. I still watch very little. So I was like, oh my gosh.
But so we do similar work. So we started this all out of order, but this is Nicole Ashton. I'm Trina, and she's been a mentor of mine. She does energy healing, and I've learned so much from her, and I'm so grateful that she's on here today. And something that I've heard, I do energy work as well, and I hope to be as good as Nicole in one of my lifetimes. But one of my clients was saying recently, oh, I'm finally not thinking so much. And she said, I'm making friends, and they were friends that she could have been friends with in school, like in high school. She's a younger one. And she said, it was very simple. One of them asked, like, why weren't you friends with us in high school? And she said, oh, I just didn't like myself. But she's like, I just don't think very much anymore. Is that okay? Is that normal? And I said, yeah, because you're more in your heart space and you don't have to think it all through. And she she had the observation, when I'm here, I like my, like, I naturally like myself more. And I thought that was really fascinating, but I feel like you kind of just connected those dots. Is our brains are old and they'll keep us in limiting patterns. And it's kind of sounds like it's a battle that could be lost. Like this isn't where we're supposed to find the love for ourselves. Or what do you think? Feel?
Well, the heart is 10,000 times stronger than the brain. So once you practice it, so we've been practiced to use that brain since we came out of the womb, you know. Yeah,
Mhm.
we didn't honor that the breath just came. We didn't honor that the heart just beat. We didn't honor that we could eat a sandwich and or eat a fruit or eat something sugar. We didn't realize that it would move through our bodies and everything would be digested and sent to different parts of the body. I mean, we're not taught that when we're young, that to honor your body. And so or yeah, love your body, you know. And so when we get older and we have, I mean, we're not even taught about energy. So as you're growing, you're taught no, don't do that. And you're taught you know, right away how to read, how to write, and how you're just taken off at that energetic path and the connection is lost. Sorry, it's not lost, it's to the side of you, it's outside of you. That's why you're always reaching for something more. And when um you start, like now, some of you activate the heart space again, this DNA activation is happening. If you're watching this, I'm pretty sure something's going on in the body. If not now, it will happen later. But I was blessed to have this gift since I was little, so I was not guided away from my connection. My mom actually encouraged it. And through experiences, I you know, you do think you're weird, you think all this stuff when you were younger, um and have these gifts. But where was I going with that? Oh, they want me to talk about the kids that are here right now that are being born, because they are very, very gifted. So you're guided away from the energy, you're guided away from spirit, and you're guided away from inner heart space and that self set and that, or that inner self. So when stuff like this happens and you're bridging the brain and you're bridging that heart brain, this brain is very powerful. Even though it's been in survival, it's got us through a lot of stuff that humans that should have been wiped out long ago, but this works. So when they match, and the emotion and the energy of Mother Earth are propelled to now create something beautiful, it's unfailing. Like things that you create will work. So
And that's what I know to be alignment, is alignment of heart, of body, of mind, of spirit, just really letting there be that connection. And you were calling it presence, I believe, at the beginning or before we started.
the ministering of presence, the present moment is really all you have. And when you're in the future, you're creating something that this brain, I mean, it got you here, right? It got us asking for help. It got us. So our best thinking got us right here. our, our got you to the point where you're asking for assistance, you're asking for mentors, or you're needing adjustments, alignments, which it is needed. I get them. I call on people too, because if we had all the gifts, we wouldn't seek each other out, and there would be no reason for us to be here and explore and mesh with each other, because everyone has a frequency, a vibration, and a sound, a gift, and they're seeding it into Mother Earth on purpose. Rather, it's really big and it's really like intense, or it's very subtle. And we've talked about why we work together so well is because you really have a subtle conversation about things that really is relatable to people. And I come in like a lightning bolt, and I have since I was little. So it's almost like mesh, and we're able to really bring that healing, wake people's biophotons up, and then explain what's happening in their bodies. And mind, body, and spirit is it's just profound when you have that combination of light.
Yeah.
So when we're taught, and clear back when we were able to have communications and like in a harmonious way. There we go. In a harmonious way was we all talked one language, and that was the original language of light. And through experiences, separation, and life, that stopped happening. And now people are realizing the language of light is the heart space. It's love. And so you can go and have a conversation with somebody and not say anything. And you're like, how did I know what you're going to say? Well, that's because we're returning back to that. And what I've experienced through my many travels around the world is, one, I went to Asia and I couldn't speak to anyone. Well, I don't know their language, and I got there and I'm like, oh, great. But I was able to realize I didn't need to, because I just spoke through the heart, and I got all through there, and I got through the airports in a couple of days until I found a translator. But the most amazing thing was I communicated in a different way. And that's when I found out about the language of light and the origin, and that we used to use telepathy. Imagine that. Like, I wonder what the sense of wonder. I love that so much. That's one of the biggest senses that we lost, is that sense of wonder, or that we forgot about it. But I wonder, like, something just came in. That was fun. We went to Egypt. That's why.
I was
Like,
just checking into
like,
the.
oh, and that, and let's go play. And I'm like, uh-oh, I don't know if we're ready for that.
Oh, I had a similar experience. I went to France and I didn't speak the language. And it was really funny because I was using my Google Translator, and everyone kept asking me, like, habla español? And I was like, no. And it was like day 2, and I was like, why does everyone keep asking me that? And my Uber driver pointed to my phone, and he's like, you're translating this to Spanish, not to French. And I
Oh,
was like, oh, we both, but he didn't speak English, so he just pointed, and I was like, I went bright red, and I just started laughing, and he started laughing, but I realized, I thought, I have thought people were understanding me because of my Google Translator, and they weren't. They were just
we're like,
But I realized I felt very at home traveling alone and with all these people. And I was very afraid of the language. And there's a lot more that we have in common with people. And we can, and even like just human family. And it's not so hard to do. It just goes back to that connecting into yourself.
and that the sense of wonder is so amazing. And what when I was walking into Egypt right now, I was going to take people there that aren't ready for schools yet, but I heard, I wonder like how that would feel to know someone's every thought. You knew that you were connecting. You knew that the heart was going to share the thought that they were having. What a beautiful place it would be. You wouldn't dare think negative of anyone. Plus, at that time and day, they didn't talk negative. So there wasn't that negative energy being transferred, because this space between you and I that we're creating, this 0 point energy, is where creation happens. If there was no words and you were just able to no words for explanation except for kindness and love, and I mean, that is why at one time the planet flourished, was so much beauty. And so I wonder, what if you could hear everything somebody thought? Would you watch your better?
Yeah. And even if you didn't have, I want to add to that, even if you don't have a cruel thought or mean thoughts, would you even be critical? Because sometimes we're not being judgmental, but we're definitely having judgment. We're kind of looking at people and like, oh, what's their hair, or what's this about them? Because it's like, oh, they can't hear me, they don't know. And it just happens on automatic. But just even knowing that, like, oh, this can all be perceived and felt. And so not only the negative thoughts, but even I would say the things that are borderline observations, it would change your perspective of how you even saw.
And another add to that is you're going out, you're confident, you look amazing, but in your head you're like, I look like shit, crap, sorry. I look like this. You're like you wouldn't talk to yourself like that. And then it's so like self-love, you would have to, because people would know you are not confident because the way you're talking to yourself, you wouldn't have that conflict inside going on. And then imagine getting ready in the morning and your daughter's sitting there and she could hear you self like
she can hear.
wouldn't do it because that would reflect to her because she's your child. So there's like so much that we can learn from our own thoughts and really feeling them. And I don't know, play with it, be like, okay, today everybody is going to hear everything I think. And then be more aware of that. When we were a child, we had no filters, but if we were taught that people can feel you, but they think here, but people can feel how you feel. So feel kindly about people, think kindly about people. It's an energy. Being taught that, things would be so different. And they wanted me to come back. Spirit wanted me to come back for the kids. So the kids I've been seeing lately are so gifted. They have an energy field around them that is so intact to Mother Earth, and they have a knowingness that a lot of their parents are struggling with them, but allowing them the safe space to share with you, and the ego of I am training you to be this perfect child. Hold back for a little bit. You have to raise the child, but listen, really listen to them. And then also have these little hearts, these big hearts, bigger than yours. Their heart space is huge. Remember that they're coming in like that. These kids are just unconditional love, blazing, ready to shift the world. And then they're like, uh-oh, this is denser than we thought. And I learned this from delivering a baby that wouldn't turn. And I went over to the house. The midwife called me and I went over to the house. And as the baby was turning, I was getting him to turn. I was showing him his purpose through visioning to him in the womb. And he finally turned. But in this time, I was asking him, why don't you want to come? And he said, because it's too heavy. You could feel the heaviness of this earth. He didn't want to come. And I'm like, but you can shift the world. That's why you're coming. It won't be like this forever. I'm like, tell your friends to still come.
Tell them it's still a good place. I'll give you snacks. You know what though? I've had some kids that I've worked with, and the interesting thing that I've had to tell some parents, and they understand because it's their child, but I've told them, they're reacting to your thoughts. You need to think different thoughts. And I said, I know this isn't fair. And they kind of paused and then looked at me and said, no, that actually makes sense, because I'm very good about not showing it. And I told her, you're showing it. It doesn't matter. And it's not that she couldn't be authentic, because as a parent, you're going to have concern and worry, and it's going to be hard if you're trying to fight that. But instead, I said, the hope you want your child to have. If they feel you worried about them, they'll worry about who they are. If they feel you hopeful for their future, they'll find that in themselves. It's no longer even, I always say monkey see, monkey do, but it's what you feel. Like, you don't even have to use the words. And so even it can be beautiful, even if your child is struggling. Focus on how much you love them. Focus on how much they mean to you. Focus on what you believe them to be capable of, not your vision of it, but but just hold the door open in a
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah. The kids have this sensory, this it's like ultra sensory system too, like everything around them they can hear. And so we've gone through traumas, and most like really sensitive empaths have gone through traumas, and they've been pushed to seek out other senses as a radar that they're in trouble, that is a radar that something's happened, and they usually learn that through a trauma. Why the children are is because that's a trauma coming through that birth, with the sense, with as light as they're coming in their mission. So they come through, or their purpose here, they move through the canal, and they're just like, whoa. And then you're butt slapped, and you know it's nothing that they thought. And in the dense time that we were born, well, I was born, it was getting lighter then, but it was just it was different. It was different. We chose to come at a different time. And so not that the slapping on the butt or whatever wasn't trauma, but it's actually more so because we think about it, your skin right now, the more that you activate, the more that you expand, the skin gets really sensitive. There's some days you probably can't go outside or.
Yep. Oh, absolutely. There's times that it's funny. My house at any given point in time, it can be very bright and very light. And then at the same time, it's like boom, everything is closed and there's candles, and even smells are strong. And it's like, oh, it's like being a raw nerve. Yeah, very exposed. But yeah,
that right now. And so they are just asking for you to love them. And then remember, like a lot of the kids have really adult personalities. They're these old souls. So they're reacting in really brave ways, or really outrageous ways, however the parents perceive it. And especially when they're going through life's traumas and the world these days, remember that as an adult, we've been through experiences. We have found tools to navigate through stuff. Even from the news to the presidency, just things like that. When you're talking about it in the house, the kids can feel that, and they don't really understand it yet. They don't really understand what a presidency is yet. But what I found with some of my clients is the kids are shutting down because they think that there's something negatively wrong in the house. They're not realizing it's the presidency. They don't know.
I don't know how to separate it. Yeah.
So have consideration. I can talk all day about the kids because that's my primary clients, as you know. I work all of them. I love them so much, but I work with adults too, because they're the parents, and you get to learn from the child.
Yeah. And I love that, because it is a big thing that's affecting people, and it's hard because there's those books like What to Expect When You're Expecting. But then there's those I find that a lot of parents to sensitive kids, when I've been seeing more kids, but probably not as much of my clientele as you do. But what I've noticed though is a lot of times there's this dynamic of failure that comes up in the parent, because and even I'll be in there, I'll do a session, and I will even open my eyes and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm talking like you're 20 and you're 3. And I look over at the parent and I'm like, how's this going? And they'll be crying, or they're just like, and it's like, what is this? And I realize they're like, that makes so much sense. And there's this friction, not because there isn't love there, but the understanding of how to raise a child and the children that are coming is just mismatched. It's not aligned. And so parents are trying to use parenting techniques, and they're quickly more and more outdated. And it puts them in almost this state of helplessness at times. And it is something as simple as watching their sensory intake and noticing. It's not that you need to, I call them no talk walks. And I tell them it's a way of going, and neither of you talk and no one's upset, but it's a way of teaching them how to separate their energy from yours and to focus on themselves. And if they can do that with you, and you guys can kind of keep your own space, then that's a way of helping them when they go into the world. But it's really interesting stuff. Maybe we'll have to do something around that, Nicole.
Yeah, it will be. I could talk all. I love it. My clients are just. I found that joy is the best thing. Like they are not going to learn, and the parents aren't. They have no idea how to navigate. If you're navigating out of the old playbook, because they have no idea. They love joy. They love the feeling of happiness, and you can pull them out of those situations just like that. But like the ones that are in school, they are like, they come to me and they're really frustrated with like math. They have an easier way to do it. It's the old simple form. And they're like, so be patient with your kids, listen to them. If they have a different way to show you math and it works, let them do it. Let them do it, because you fight them on it, and then they feel dumb and they feel bad, and then they feel like they can't do anything wrong. Like they learn different, and they do. But
Well,
let them know that.
yeah, and it reminds me, oh, my internet connection. Come on. Just going back to self, just they are coming and they are connected. And so helping that connection to be there and even learning from them. But I find that kids can really help me get back into my heart if I have gotten disconnected too. You can go and hang out with them and just play a game with them and let them play with you, and they'll bring you into their world very quickly. And maybe it's not so much about trying to bring them into ours. It's letting us get sucked into and pulled into theirs.
And the funnest thing is even when they're frustrated, it's cute. Like they'll play games and realize they're not really mad. They're still from the heart. They're like, when you pay attention to their frustration, it's usually because they're not understanding, they're getting something, or they're not getting like the dynamic of the game. And so they have kind of this cute little frustration. But when I work with adults and they're frustrated at a game, because I do work with addiction on gaming, because some people are like that, but it's because they're pissed because they can't win, and they're just angry. The kids aren't. If you really feel them, they're still in their heart. When they're mad, they think they're mad, but they're just like, dang it, I can't get this. There's a different energy charge that doesn't take away from their center, because they're really not mad. They really don't want to hurt somebody, versus like even at Atari, I can remember I used to get pretty mad at that, back in the day. So, and it's a different, still loving mad, but it's like they're taking accountability for themselves. They're smart. They're smart. Those kids are smart.
Oh, well, yeah, I
We
love that. I love it. What would be, let's see, is there anything else you're feeling like it needs to be included?
Yes, right now the moon just shouted out loud and said, I can feel it. So like my inner being is just on fire. That is going to happen for a lot of people right now. The moon has got such huge energies, but also conflicting energies due to some of the energy that's on the moon right now. So if you go out, and even if you're used to just drinking in that moonlight and feeling amazing, if you have even a split second you're not, go inside, because there is some kind of charge. And I know it's going to be tomorrow when you air this or whenever, so it will be past the moon. But if you happen to go in the moon tonight and drink it in and have an amazing experience, but some kind of glitch happened, let's walk you through balancing. I don't know what it's called, so let's just do it really quick. That's how I wrote. Sometimes words get in the way most of the time, so let's just do it.
Okay.
So then, are you feeling that click yet, or that glitch? Because the moon has just an interesting wave. And so I invite you to take a breath in through your nose into your heart, up and out your throat. The next breath in, down into the womb area, the pelvic floor. If you're a male, you still have a womb energy. It's still a creative source energy that is in your stomach. Bridge the feminine and masculine. Feel that in the heart space. And remember, also your stomach has a brain as well. There's 3 energies in your body that are, when they are awakened, when they are aligned, miracles happen. And that is why your food intake is so important to be aware of what works for you. Eating healthy and light foods. There's an energy pulse coming through the moon that is super amazing. Boom, feel it through your whole body. All that water, as you're remembering, your body is 85+% water. And the moon can pull the ocean. I wonder what it can do to you. Add all the positive, unconditional love, anything that is brought through the waves of the moon that is positive, uplifting, and for your highest good, and ignites the gift of presence. Bring more of that on. But the glitch, if it's happening, you will feel a pinch in your heart, and you're going to breathe in and feel it move out and dissolve into the 0 point energy. Boom. Feel the energies anchor into the heart core of Mother Earth. Embrace everything that happened and simply love. Anything that's not of unconditional love is dissolved. And so it is.
Yummy. That's interesting. I thought we need to do something for the moon. I didn't know if we do it on this call, but of course you did.
It's showering us right now. The waves will move through for 3 or 4 days. And the moon is getting a little bit different. Do you remember like petroglyphs and hieroglyphs written on the Egyptian walls? And, you know, and the sun and the planets used to be closer. Like they used to be right there. And so information was available to us. And the further that emotions, the further that the heavier we created Mother Earth to be, because it was from our emotions. She began to drop from the planets, from the information. We got farther from source, light, code. So as you recognize, have you looked now at the moon? It's like feels like it's so much closer. Yeah. We're seeing the planets again. That means that light is so available to us now. So the moon, even back in those days, always had a negative side to it. So I don't know for sure. This is something that's not came to me yet. It's not for me to know yet. Something will happen with the moon. Okay. So I am guided to be very aware when I'm outside in it. And right now, thunder and lightning is happening. That's so crazy.
It is?
Yeah. Usually I go out to the moon, out and see the moon, and then I hear this thunder and lightning. It's like, they're like, no, you're not going to see it.
Stay inside. This is your sign. I felt polarity with, I feel a little bit with the moon. It just depends on, I guess, well, I've always thought it's what was going on with me, but it's but I felt more, I went out and I saw it, and I was last night, and I was really excited about it, and then I was like, that's enough, go inside. And I thought, that's weird. Like normally I'll kind of pull out a chair and relax, and I actually didn't feel called to take out any of my crystals and to charge it in this moon. And I realized that today. I was like, oh, I didn't. I kept meaning to, and then it was like, here, just skip this one. And that's the beauty of intuition and of being connected. Sometimes you don't need to have the answers, but if you're feeling pulled away from something, I don't normally get a bad feeling with intuition. I just get a feeling like no, skip over that.
It's
And
not now, and it might be later, but right now. And
yeah,
a lot of the broadband that your body has, like you have a broadband of energy that you can only handle without overloading yourself. And like too much energy is just as bad as not enough energy. They're equally hinder your body, and you usually get tired, both of them. So when you're getting too much energy and you don't have the broadband, you blow circuits, and you actually will do all the work to get aligned, and you feel super amazing, and either you go expel it too quickly and you blow a circuit and then you fall asleep. Well, that stuff is gone. Now you have to reboot everything again. So to be aware of that, intuition isn't always that something's bad. Like you say, it's maybe you need to take a break, or your broadband isn't big enough. But I suggest that, or isn't wide enough at the moment. I suggest that no matter what it is, your go-to would be the intuitions on purpose. Because if you're expanding and it has a negative forces coming to you, if you give more attention to it, it's going to come closer. So just, it's not for me right now. Make it simple. It's not for me right now. I'm not feeling it. Maybe it'll come back later. If you don't put a negative twist on it, then you're not going to add more negative, and it won't come closer to you at the moment. So
keep the
simple.
judgment away and the attachment will go away.
Yeah.
No judgment, no attachment. Just, oh, I love that. Well, thank you. I appreciate you taking the time. It's been amazing. And thank you everyone for listening. And hopefully this was helpful. And I'm sure it was, because you should have
And
heard us trying to figure this out before.
thank you for inviting me and having this conversation. And I am so, so proud of your expansion, and just observing and watching you grow the last 5 years.
Wow.
Anyways, it's been a minute. Time, we don't know time, but it's well. And you're thank you for helping all these beautiful people and bringing your light to the world.
Yeah, well, came through you, me, and we're leaving a legacy here. It's pretty amazing. So this is Nicole Ashton. You can find her at, what is it?
Energyhealingbydesign.com.
Okay. If you're interested in working with her, check her out. And are you still doing your radio show?
I am not. I'm starting back up the podcast pretty soon. So I had to take a huge break with all the shifts going, because people were catching up to the DNA activations and the stuff that I've been doing for a decade. And so Spirit said, take a break and bring in the new earth energies, so you have something new to teach. So yeah.
Awesome. So go and check her out. She has amazing things that I find to be helpful if I'm in a funk. And then you can find me on Heal with Trina on YouTube and on Facebook. And it's been a pleasure. Okay.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Stop recording.